All right, so we're going to bring in with the music. So make believe you got a little bit of rhythm because we're coming in like this. Magic. Oh, man, that's right. So this is the magic. We made it. We're here finally. I'm so happy to be here with Spectrum Labs. Is that what we're calling it? Spectrum Labs? This is it? This is the real
Well, we go by Spectrum Laboratory or Spec Labs.
Spec Labs. Who thought of this? And introduce yourselves. It's Jason and Garth. And, of course, I know that I should have the last names in front of me. But you know what? I rely on my producers for those kinds of things. Me, I do mind reading.
Mine's not easy to pronounce. Yeah, I'm Jason Weissbrod from Spectrum Laboratory.
I'm Garth Herberg. Garth Herberg is the...
A lot of bergs here. Bergs, boards, and quists.
Yeah. Couple of Valley Jews.
Yeah, so I'm the head of the film department. I help oversee all the film, the acting. I also help oversee our animation department as well. And Garth?
Well, I'm the musical part of Spec Labs. We kind of have our sort of, different branches. We've got voice acting, filmmaking, music, acting. There's just a lot going on under the umbrella.
And of course, we're going to have to bring in your stand-up comedy soon, so we're going to have more under your umbrella.
We've been wanting to do that forever. I know when we talked on the phone, Sunda, we were like, stand-up comedy would be awesome.
Well, only because I've done it, and my experience had been so rewarding, because I've never seen anyone be so true and so, it was just majestic to see someone so quiet come out and be all of these characters. This one woman did everyone in her family. And when she did the Russians, she got to the Russians. And she did the Russians all the way through. And the character work and just the work involved. It's beautiful. And what you guys are doing is also beautiful. How did you get started in this, if I may ask?
I'll start it, G.
Go.
So basically, I had been working within the autism community with some great programs such as the Miracle Project and Autism on the Seas, and I was over at the Help Group, and I was just kind of doing theater and musical theater and running plays, and it was really fun, and I got to meet all these amazing people. And then Garth kind of came in through that connection as well, and we started writing music together and having fun, and Garth and I are LA Valley boys. We knew each other in high school.
Get out!
We go way back.
Are you going to play David Spade in the movie?
What's that?
Is he going to play David Spade in the movie?
Possibly. I know that's a definite. I've got the COVID beard and he's got the COVID hair for sure.
There you go. I've got the COVID hair, sweetie. That's a lot of hair.
Yeah. So we were just doing that, and then my passion has always been in filmmaking and acting, right? So I always wanted to make short films, and a lot of people I were meeting within the autism community were always just saying, hey, I want to audition for acting parts, or I want to get on TV, and I want to do film, and they had a real passion for it. And then, so I thought, well, let's make short films. Let's make short films and put them up on YouTube and get them demo reels, and let's actually try to do this, because I'm an actor and a filmmaker and a director and writer, and I grew up making independent films. So I thought, well, I can share my knowledge of that to the autistic and neurodivergent community. And then Garth, you want to talk a little bit about your music background? And how you got involved?
Yeah. So I was doing music directing at the time when I met Jason. Again, we grew up together, but we kind of got in our own separate directions. And it was interesting. I've been a touring musician and been recording artist for a long time. And I just was on this path where I was looking for new work. I'd come off the road and I was doing gigs, working off Theater Row. And I had also had some experience in the autism community too. I helped lead a music program at Bridges Academy. And I was looking for work, and I found the Miracle Project, where Jason had been the acting director for some time. And he just he saw me and was like, bro, it's you. And I was like, yeah, bro, it's you. And he sort of took me under his wing and was like, all right, I'm going to make sure you get the gig in here. And we started working together for a year and a half there. And we just had a blast. We wrote a bunch of tunes. We had a really good time. And at a certain point, we were like, musical theater is great, but both of our strengths kind of lie outside of that, because I had so much experience in recording and songwriting, and Jason's this great film director and writer. So we were just kind of like, maybe we should do a production company. And then we realized, well, we kind of need to nurture the talent and develop it. So then we decide, let's just do classes as well as productions. We'll merge production with education.
That's the only way to do it.
Well, sorry, yeah. Go ahead.
I was just, not to interrupt or just to go with your point. It's so much fun when you make it fun and it's education and they don't know that's education because they're having fun.
Yeah, exactly. And it's therapeutical too. I mean, creating these, as you all know, creating these characters and getting to live out. Like we're having a huge festival, which we'll get into later this week in Spec Fest, but a lot of our students gave testimonials. And one student was just bullied like crazy at school. But in Spec Labs, he got to play a bully and he got to like live out this fantasy. And his parents and him say how it's helped him grow with confidence. Just being able to like build these characters and live them out and role play and we've been seeing through the years, like a lot of our students in year one, like they were very shy and they didn't really understand what was going on. And now they're on stage and they're singing at the El Rey Theater in front of a group of people, and they're on film and they're getting parts and roles in TV shows. And it's just like, it's blowing our mind because it's not only is like living through these characters gaining their own self-esteem and confidence, but it's also just making them happier and realizing, I don't think they knew they could do it until we were like, you can do this. And we're really challenging. We like really challenge them and be like, and I don't babysit, like we're like, you can do this. That's not the take I'm going to live with for the movie. I'm like, we gotta get you to a better place. And I know they can do it. And we push, and Garth through the music does the same thing. Like they're singing.
And the music, I'm sure, is much more soothing than Jason saying, you can do it. I'm just kidding. No, you have that motivational way.
Garth is way more chill than I am.
But he's totally right though. We're not trying to babysit, that's
exactly
something that's kind of an issue with, it's kind of an issue in the autism world. You deal with a lot of people that are, they're transitioning into adulthood. We're working with students that, when we first met them, were a lot younger. And now they're, well into their 20s, they're getting older, and for many of them. And so we have to kind of, there's a part of us we still see that kid, we kind of see that young kid.
Always will.
Right. But we have to kind of realize and remind ourselves that, we're dealing with, adults that are transitioning here. And, not only are they, transitioning into adulthood is hard enough, especially, with the world the way it is. But when you're on the spectrum, when you've got a disability, there's odds stacked against you. So exactly. we're really trying to push our guys to just be more independent, more self-starting, all of that. It's really kind of built into what we do.
And I wish there was a way we could do something with the word disability and just make it ability. You know what I mean? Because
there's a lot of the PC stuff. It's tough.
I know. No, I'm the worst. I'm the worst. I make mistakes every day.
We're also creatives. Like we didn't come from therapeutical backgrounds, and we're creatives, and like we get a lot of the we do really well with managing it. But there's so many different terms that keep going, and we also are now really involved with the LGBTQ+IA community, and like. So because we just made a film all about it, we're really in. I'm
dying to get to this. I know I seem so excited about it, but I'm dealing with a whole different generation here. As you know, we're all different and accepting. We're learning. That's why I was saying, like, when it comes to autism, disability, I'm always thinking these kids are so smart. They're outsmarting you right now.
I mean, the thing is, disability isn't total, right?
It's no. I was making it like, how we know because we're in the arts. I can't explain it, but we have another take on.
Yeah, and there's a problem with the word. I agree with you. There's a problem with the word because when you hear the word, you think of a net negative. When disability, it's like usually what the case is, you have weaknesses and strengths. So some of our students need support in certain areas, and you can see that sort of that disability. And then in other areas, they really excel. So the balance kind of makes for a really great person, a really interesting person, a really capable person. But yeah, when you say disability and you leave it at that, it does sound like a negative word. I'm with you.
And we always kind of. we always kind of say that we custom tailor our program to individual students. Like we really don't like teach everyone the same thing. We kind of like learn what their abilities and where they shine really are and where their passions lie. And then we just go into that. Exactly. We just go into that. So if they want to be a writer, we give them the best tools to becoming a writer. If they want to be an actor, we give them the best tools for that. If they want to be a singer, a songwriter, an animator, a voice actor, whatever it may be, we've got all these different programs. Improv comedy, we do improv comedy. So like I'm teaching an improv, like the same rules you find at UCB and at, you know, Second City and, you know, the improv, like, so we're doing, just if you were to take classes in the professional acting world, I run a film acting scene analysis class, which is what I used to do, where you get scenes, you get a scene partner, you learn your scenes, you get coached, and then you get another scene partner 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, and you do another
God, the good old days.
Yeah, you know the film. So it's like, it's the same. So we're trying to program our program custom tailored to the students' needs, you know, like to what their passions are.
What I really appreciate is the fact of you saying that the transition into adulthood is very important, knowing that you're not going to always have your shadow and you have to be your own shadow. How are you dealing with that when you're teaching the arts? I know I had a challenge because I had, as I had explained to refresh anyone who's watching, we are talking about my love for whatever reason of the autistic community. And I've hosted many events because New Jersey are the highest case of autism, what have you, but I learned so many things. And what I learned is that sometimes the shadow makes them act differently because they would be free to be who they are with me. And I know that. But you're so worried about this kid's gonna touch me, and I'm okay with that. And you should know coming in here it's a safe place, because it is. If it's not, don't let the kid, you know what I mean? That's how I am.
Yeah. That's really interesting. And I've thought about that. You know, I've definitely thought about that. I think what you find usually in our classes is that there's not like a big distinction between teacher, assistant, student many of the times. Like, you know, sometimes there's a bit of instruction happening, but a lot of times we're collaborating and working together. Yeah. So we try to cut down that barrier so when we can. But yeah, I mean, I think with our students, like, we encourage them to be more independent and kind of step away from supports and shadows. Most of our students do not have an aid present or shadow, but some of them do. Sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes you're dealing with students that might have a medical condition where, like a student might be seizure prone. You know, you definitely want to have somebody on standby for that.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, for any medical, like for medical and needs, that's when we really allow it. Obviously, we have to, you know. But a lot of times, like our first and second year, like parents would want to, like, you know,
always, right?
Be involved. And at a certain point, it's like, well, to really let them fly free, you know, it's
cut
like,
that cord.
Let us just work with us. And Garth touched on something, because a lot of things we were involved with, or I've been involved with for the last 10, 12 years before we start Spec Labs, there was a lot of like teacher student or volunteer student, and there was a big distinction between who's creating together. And we wanted to make more of a community, like an artist community. So like you would sing a song with a singer-songwriter and you would sing it together. Or when we made our movie, Boys Don't Wear Dresses, like we had professionals from the entertainment industry involved with our students. Our students got to act with Tom Kenny, the voice of SpongeBob SquarePants. Our students got to act with Alexandra Billings, who's on Transparent. You know, they got to actually have the professional collaboration. And that was always our biggest thing, was like, let's
validates them.
Rise to the challenge.
Oh, yes. They love that. They love that. And I'm saying,
they love it. I mean, why wouldn't they love to hang out with Tom Kenny? I mean, it's the best thing in the world.
He is the best. Yeah, he's the absolute best.
Well, I really want to get to what's going on with our climate, and also what you're doing with this movie. And it's beautiful that you're bringing in these worlds and you're able to still be like old enough to be smart enough, but hip enough to be cool enough. You understand, where you know all the right things to say. Obviously, you've produced this film, and it's really important that people see this. and
Well,
see
thank
this
you.
other
Yeah.
world. And I would like for you to talk more about it. I'm talking too much. I'm sorry.
No, you're not talking. I feel like I'm talking too much.
No, because I
Yeah.
want to go on to remember before we
Well,
go.
why don't we say what's going on this weekend, like, and then the movie will be shown this weekend. So
Right.
maybe Garth, if you want to talk about Spec Fest and stuff, and then I could talk about Boys Don't Wear Dresses.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a big milestone for us. We've done a lot of these festivals. When we started out, we did two of them a year, but now we've slowed our roll to one a year. And it's a festival highlighting all the work our students are and the artists in our community do. So for this weekend, we decided, because we're ending our 5th year in operation, we're going to do a 5-year retrospective and kind of put a glimpse of everything we've done over the last 5 years, as well as highlight some of the new work that our students have been doing over the quarantine over this past year. It's a big deal for us. We've been working our tails off for weeks.
I can
getting
imagine.
Yeah.
Are you gonna help from other people? Like, there's going to be other questions that arise out of this movie, and I can imagine you're going to need. You're going to have a lot of people asking questions. You're going to have a lot of people
about
wanting
the
help.
film.
And now they're going to be asking, like something that come up, like with restorative justice. What are you guys going to, is that going to be a part of your journey now? Are you going to get involved in the political aspect of that? And what about the therapy circles? That's
So this is something actually we've been brought to our attention before, because we just kind of naturally fall into that, especially because like with the work we create. But Garth and I are artists, and we've always been really like careful about getting too involved in the political side of things, because what we really are is fundamentally an art program. Like fundamentally, that's what we are, and we create art, and with our students, and we will always fight for what's right and inclusive, and representation matters in Hollywood. That's how we get political when it comes to the arts. When it comes to the larger whole of the politics within the autism and neurodivergent community, we will fight for what's right always. Our heart is always in the right place, but we don't actively pursue the politics and get involved with
right?
the big organizations, So we ride that line, but the stuff we create is it kind of speaks for itself in a way, like, you know what I mean, Garth? Like
I kind of feel like, yeah, I totally agree, but I also kind of feel like we don't really have time. Like we're so busy, we're so busy just kind of conveying the story.
No, and then you get blamed.
Our wanting to tell, like,
yeah,
there's so many stories we're trying to put out there in film and music, and
you're doing your thing from where you are. You don't have to be on the street pounding the stone, but you're still
and we are, by creating the art, by showing them, like by the art speaks for itself. It really does, because our art really imitates the lives of our artists and our storytellers, and our art really imitates the lives, which is, at Spec Fest this weekend, December 19th and 20th, you're gonna see that, and like we have a whole.
Tell us about. It's 5
there's
years.
stuff we create that hits on the politics, but it's not like shoving it in your face. The movie, which you keep referring to, Boys Don't Wear Dresses, which I think you guys have the poster. You'll show that. Boys Don't Wear Dresses was created by one of our students, Alani Shorin, came to me and said, I want to write a short film. And I started mentoring Alani. And when I started mentoring Alani was going by the name Steven. And Steven came out to me in our community that Steven was gay. Okay. So we were like, all right, well, let's write a short film about what it's like being autistic and gay. Like, that's really cool. That's something that's
totally cool.
Let's start a conversation. So we wrote that short. And then while we were writing the short, Alani says, I'm Alani and I'm transgender, and I want to start being called Alani, and I want this film now to not just be about being gay and autistic, it's about a transgender autistic story. So our film evolved during the writing process as Alani was evolving. And then we got a casting director involved once the script was finished, from this wonderful woman, Rose, who worked on the show Atypical, Netflix's Atypical. She worked on the show on casting. So she was able to reach out to Alexandra Billings, which is how we got her. And then a friend, Spencer Hart, who is in the movie, her mom is great friends with Carol Kane. So we reached out to Carol Kane from Princess Bride and Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. She narrated the movie for us. So we've got her voice in the movie, which is a dream come true. And I got to fly out to New York before the pandemic and work and right before and do that with her. So it was such a dream come true because I mean, growing up with Taxi and Princess Bride, I mean, she's like one of my favorite people on earth. And I was in the room with her. So it was like, blew my mind. So this movie just kept evolving. And then we've been friends with Tom Kenny. Garth had a record release, epic show at the El Rey Theater, where a bunch of our artists released their own records.
That's nice.
We have our artists. And so Tom Kenny, who's a friend of ours, came on stage and played with his band, Tom Kenny and the High Seas. And all of a sudden we have SpongeBob hanging out with our students. And then I asked him to be in the movie, and he so thankfully said yes. And he played a character in the movie. So, and then all the other parts besides Carol Kane, Alexandra Billings, and Tom Kenny are all our students. They're all people on the autistic spectrum or neurodivergent. They're somewhere within that community or the LGBTQ plus community, which was a huge community that we've recently just brought into our Spectrum Laboratory.
I was going to say, I haven't really heard much about it until one of the producers here mentioned this is going to be very interesting because of the dynamic and the climate that's going on, and what a wonderful thing that you're doing here with this movie. And how did you cast for it?
So yeah, we got Rose involved, and we held casting, and we hired actually autistic actors. There's this whole hashtag going on, actually autistic, recently.
Right.
And it's a big thing, and we held auditions, and we have friends in, you know, different places who kind of reached out. We put it out on casting networks, LA Casting. We put an actual, we want to hire autistic actors for these roles. And we saw a ton, Garth. I mean, we saw like 20 different actors for just the lead role, and then a bunch of others for other roles. And this kid, Brandon Rodriguez, came in, and we'd never worked with him. And he just blew our mind. And because he reminded, Alani looked at me after Brandon left the room and was like, that reminds me of me when I was Steven. And we were just both like, that's it. Like, so we got Brandon, and then we have a bunch of our students in the movie and showing up here and there. We had a whole party scene where we had like a fake party, and we had all of our students come and hang out. And then one other notable thing to mention is two of our other cast members transitioned during the filming, or like right after the process of filming. Like
you got something to do with the director? Are you guys gonna
well, I think it has something to do with
now?
I think it has something to do with the fact that we were saying it's okay.
Yes, like, being free.
You were supporting our community. You're supported within our community, and I think they weren't sure. And then through this process, like, you know, one of our instructors actually like transitioned pretty much during the filming, right?
Should have been able to do a group wedding scene or something after this.
Yeah, we're gonna. I mean, that's the next night, a wedding film.
Shit up. Boys don't wear.
Yeah, so the film Boys Don't Wear Dresses it's really it's so amazing to share this. And we're going to show it at Spec Fest because it really is a true testament of our 5 years for the film program, and I mean the music program as well too. Because Garth, if you want to talk about the score, I mean we have a lot of a musical element to the whole movie as well.
Yeah, it was really cool. We got a lot of our students, our musicians, in on the scoring process. But you know, I wanted to harken back to what you said, Sunda. You know, we were sort of touching on politics, and it dawned on me that, you know, you could sort of look at this film and you could kind of think that it's sort of a political film.
A little bit.
But the thing is, it's totally the opposite, because it was written from there was no agenda when writing it. You know what I mean? I think that Alani and Jason were just really trying to tell a story, and what's ended up happening is you have this story that, you know, the thought of like, how do I tell my family, or how do I tell my kids give them an understanding of like autism and, you know, the idea of the nature of being transgender. Like how can I communicate that, you know, in a sort of family setting? This film does that in a really great way. It's kind of amazing. Like I don't think I've seen anything that can really do that. And it's only because there's so much kind of heart in the characters. The students are really our students that perform, you know, I just, of course we're biased, but I think they're just so genuine about, you know, being themselves in the
Be
film.
honest and free.
Yeah.
Well, and people are paying attention. We've gotten into 13 film festivals, and we've won 3 awards already with this film. We've won 2 Audience Choice Awards.
Film festival? Have you submitted
Yeah,
that?
13 film fests,
Wow.
2 Audience Choice Awards, and a Best Screenplay Award from
Wow.
different festivals. So people
That's
are
incredible.
really responding well to the film. And like Garth said, we describe it as a modern coming-of-age fairy tale. It's loosely based on the story of Cinderella. So it's told through a very family-friendly PG approach, which when we're involved with a lot of these film festivals, and 90% of them are dramas and really sometimes tough to watch, like very
True.
adult
times, yeah.
adult themed, right?
Yeah.
And Alani, this is really a true testament to Alani. Alani told me she always wanted to make a movie that kids could watch and explain it to young kids. And so we went with that, and it's really a unique film, and I'm really excited to share with our community. On Sunday night, we're going to screen it. And I'm really excited about that. And then just everything
Sunday
else.
night screening. We're screening.
Sunday night
Go.
at
We
7
should come.
p.m.
We should go.
Sunday night, 7 p.m. I wish we could all go to the Hollywood's Man's Chinese and watch it there or something, but it's going to be online on Zoom. But
Spec Fest.
it's at Spec Fest. If
That's
anybody who buys a ticket for Spec Fest,
Okay.
you will then, because it's on Zoom, you will get a link to watch the movie outside of the festival too, those ticket holders. Because I know during Zoom lag and everything like that, it's not the best way to watch a movie. So everybody who buys a ticket for Spec Fest will get their own direct private link with a password to be able to watch the movie on their own time. So that's kind of a really cool thing. Yeah.
That's so great. And I just love, Garth, you know what I love? I love the fact that you really grasp onto the way these kids are just, it's pure. There's a purity about it.
That's one of the things that's one of the things that got me into doing this work was I'd been, I don't know, honestly getting a little burned out. I was touring with a few bands for a couple years, and I just kind of felt like I was in this little bubble with a lot of like artistic egos, and I just thought, you know, this isn't really my jam. I want to work with a lot of different artists, and just tapping into this community, you could see like the joy and the passion and the sort of like, it's really immediate for I think most of our students, you know, when they're involved in the creative process, like that light bulb is just constantly going off. And it doesn't matter, you know, even if you're a virtuoso or maybe you're less capable or you're just learning, it doesn't, that passion is just kind of like off the charts. You know, it's pretty amazing.
But they wouldn't have it without you. They're feeding off of you. So that's a beautiful thing. And
yeah, we work together. It is a beautiful
it's easier than being burnt out with the rest of the band. You're like, dude, come on, let me sleep. Who has gas? I don't want to ride in the front. People really appreciate you, and there's an audience for them more and more. The spectrum community is our community. We have to, we got to learn how to live with it. That's what it is. That's really what it is. And this movie's going to come through. And who did the costumes?
Oh, actually, one of our friends from our Spec Labs community, this woman named X Hill. X. Her name is X.
Okay.
She's awesome. She's a friend of ours.
Sorry.
She's also a filmmaker too. Yeah.
She's a filmmaker herself. She came on board and just gave her whole heart to the project. I mean, everybody who jumped on board in the crew was like, I was so blown away. As a director, it was a dream crew. Like everybody really, really rallied together. I never felt any nobody was like, oh, we're going longer, or oh, we got to. Everybody was just like, yes, we're doing this, and they all did it for the right reasons. And everybody was, I mean, it was a crew dream come true that I had, and we all knew we were doing something special. Like it was pretty people kept coming together and they shouldn't have. Like things like were coming together when I'm like, that normally doesn't happen, but I think it was because I've worked on movies and I'm like, this, Alexandra Billings just doesn't say yes, I'm like, there's things, and then Tom K, and besides the casting, like the locations we got and everything just kind of just I mean, we got the El Rey Theater to let us shoot in the theater our big dream sequence, which, I mean, it's just, we got these amazing locations and things just kept falling into place. And it's just like, once we made the decision, we're filming this and we're doing this, it's like, it was a domino effect. Like,
And I'm sure with the wealth of talent that you have to offer coming from this movie, you're going to go a lot of places. And Garth, you better be getting ready to write a lot of music because you're going to have a sequel. This is just so interesting in so many ways, on so many levels. It's so normal. That's all. It's my world. We're in show business, you know.
Yeah.
That's normal. And when you said family friendly, think about the people who can't even accept that their kids on the spectrum. You understand?
Oh, yeah.
Much less that they want to wear, that he wants to wear a dress or she wants to wear a dress or be referred to as a pronoun, and learn all this stuff. And how amazing is it that this community of kids on the spectrum know all this stuff? They know it better than me, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
They have it down.
Alani's constantly teaching me, constantly. About
So you're also in a process, because I'm working with the youngest producers in Hollywood over here. We have Joffrey Paul Francisco and Jean-Michel Lerma, and they have to always catch me up because after the other letters, you know, I'm from another era. You got to learn them all.
Yeah.
Do you know them all?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I mean, I'm constantly learning. Like, it's definitely one of those
A work in
things
progress all the time, right?
Yeah. And what I love so much about, especially Alani and her friends and those who are in her community, like, they all understand, and those who are in the LGBTQ plus I community usually understand, like, the pronoun thing is going to take some time adjusting. Like, they understand it's confusing for people, but as long as you're trying, as long as you're willing, as long as you're not just saying, no, I don't want to call you that, or whatever it may
I would
be. Like,
never
as
do
long
that,
as you're
right.
like, your heart's in the right place and you're trying, like, that's really what they ask for of everybody. And it's this film really is about acceptance.
I hope they make it very clear, like instruction manual kind for people like from Staten Island, Jersey. Come on.
Yeah.
Can you imagine explaining and say, what do you mean day? There's only one person. Can you imagine?
Oh, yeah, with just that kind of
Tony
dialect.
Macaroni, can you imagine? And what do you mean day? I only see one person here. That's it. Okay. What was
It's not like you got the best grammar to begin with anyway, so they can make it work.
I think as long as everybody's understanding of each other, we got to give each other a break. You know, it's like we got to be respectful of how people want to be addressed. But then, you know, on the other side, people have to understand in that community that we're trying our best, and that, you know, it might take us, we might mess up. And I think there is that understanding there. It's just got to be a willingness to be open and to just keep learning. Right,
and indulge in a lot of medicinal marijuana. It goes along.
Yes, we did that in the early days. Yes, that's where the creative juice.
What, we took a whole turn here. Suddenly it became a very serious movie, and it wasn't. I gotta stop with the jokes. I know.
It's fun. You know, that's what we've always done. We've always done that with Spec Labs, which we ride the absurd humor in a lot of our stuff is what I've really loved, and you'll get that from our Spec Fest show. Like, Garth and I are definitely artists, and we're not coming at things like in a therapeutical teaching level. We're making wacky comedies and fun songs,
content, just fun
ridiculous content that sometimes is like, sometimes people are like, were you high when you were making this with your students? Because some of it is really like mind-bending, weird, crazy, you know, surreal shit. You know, and we love it, and that's why Garth and I love it. And it's one of the reasons we started doing this with our students, is because, like, it reminded us of being kids and having fun and no limits, and just like making whatever the F you want to make, you know. And that's why we jumped into it, you know.
Creating, and you got a music
the stuff
guy
that
with
comes
you?
out of their minds is we're constantly like every class I'm cracking up laughing, because there's just stuff that is said and ideas being thrown around that, you know, my friends in Hollywood would pay money to like get these ideas, you know, like,
and they would.
Oh no, I gotta check out. I mean, you showed me one of your stand-ups. He was amazing. The young dude. You were. Where's his name? You were when we were talking, and I watched his videos. The guy's incredible. Russell. What Russell?
Ross.
Ross. Yes.
Ross
Watkins.
Watkins.
Right? Dude,
Yes.
that guy's off the charts. He's hilarious.
And
yeah.
his brother gives him so much credit for being on the spectrum and for going out and going on stage, because you never know when that moment comes where it just switches on stage, where they're wondering, are they laughing with me? Are they laughing at me? And he's gotten past that because he's that funny. He is that funny. And meeting the girl who's got the tism, come on, he's a star. He's a star.
Yeah. Meeting the girl with the tism. Yeah.
Yes, it was a great set. And so that's why this is a beautiful thing. And of course, I understand, especially when you're taking care of people, this whole virus thing is freaking us all out, but we have to go further. This is the first step. You got to do more, guys. Garth, you want to talk about getting burnt out? I'll burn you guys out, okay? Because we got so much work to do now. I mean, you got to think about it. Suppose you get, like, especially if you start dealing with like New York and you're going to get that Latina flavor, you get the Puerto Ricans in, you're going to have a really diverse kind of group. But have you thought about taking this like on a tour kind of thing? Maybe going to New York, working it out at the
That would be really cool. We know some people in New York that work in this field.
We got a band. I mean, Garth, you can talk about the band, man. We got a band that's amazing.
What's the band?
Yeah, we got the Spec band. It's pretty cool. And at the moment, because we're all working remotely, we've had the whole band record themselves independently, film themselves independently, and we've made these videos we're going to premiere at the festival of the band playing together, working together virtually. But we've been a band for a few years now, and it's great. We got a couple strong songwriters in the group. We got a few singers. We've got kind of an unusual arrangement of instruments. We got the typical, drums, guitar thing.
Does anybody have your hair?
No. I didn't have my hair till recently. I just decided, since my birthday in February, it's my
you Aquarian.
I'm gonna let it go.
Let it go. Now they're gonna charge us.
The band.
I see you doing something so much. I see something besides this. I see something bigger. I see something like Hamilton-esque about this. There's something going to do.
One day, I mean,
one day
it's
coming. You just have
we want to make a feature film, which Boys Don't Wear Dresses is kind of like an avenue to show, like, we could do a feature, whether it's based on Boys Don't Wear Dresses or another story. We want to make a feature. We want a TV show. We have a pilot for a TV show called Let Us Be Heard that we want to get out there. That's all about the transitioning into adulthood for those autistic.
This is very important, by the way, that you're dealing with this transitioning aspect, because you cannot treat someone who's 20 years old like they are 12 anymore.
Yeah.
And being
Amen.
I mean it, and you gotta have to break them away, because these kids know what they want. They want to get into this acting thing, and they don't want to be babysat, like you said. So I like that, and it's not even being like, "Hey, we're being tough." You're just being adults.
Yeah. And a lot of our students they're doing it. Like, one of our initial students, he was in our first class. He was a big influence for us starting this program, is Dominique Brown, and this guy is now on the show Atypical. He's on Netflix's Atypical. He's a recurring role, Jasper, on the show. He's one of our big Spec Labbers who's doing it. He's actively out there. He's auditioning. Brandon, who is the lead in Boys Don't Wear Dresses, calls me and I coach him for auditions all the time. He does self-tape auditions. He's in Texas right now, and his agents are calling him, and he's calling me, and I'm coaching him, and we're self-taping, and he's submitting. He just got cast on the Eric Andre show not too long ago. He's got his part on the Eric Andre show. Like, they're doing it. Spencer Hart was also on Atypical, and she was in Parenthood. I mean, a lot of our students are auditioning and getting out there and making movies and getting cast, and that's really a testament to what we're doing, as well as just the Hollywood world in general being so much more open to the changes happening, and we're happy to be a part of it.
And you're right on time. You are so on time. You do have an idea of how on time you are. But had I not worked with autism in New Jersey for those many years with, they brought in Broadway stars. I don't know. I think my producers just want to make noise to throw me off because they know I have ADHD. So that means when I come back to the screen, I won't remember what I was talking about. But it was a program that brought in the Broadway stars. And I was saying Jodi DiPiazza, you know her?
Yeah, yeah, Jodi, yeah. I know her through like connections through,
Exactly.
she performed with our friends in New York for a benefit. They're called Action Play. My friend Aaron Feinstein in New York, and she performed with Weird Al Yankovic on stage, and so did they. So there's like a connection. It's like, oh, I would die to get Weird Al involved with us. That's like a dream come true for me. Aaron got to work. I'll probably reach out soon. Like, yeah, I got to.
Come on. He's the best. You ever try to write a parody? How hard that is?
Oh, we have some parody songs. We've actually written a couple parodies with our students.
Wow. So where else can we find your stuff? So like just say I want to direct people because I want to give them, hey, listen, not only are we taking this to another level, but this is a totally, this is a whole other level. That's what they say, there's a whole other level. Where do we find, just go to your site at Spectrum Labs or?
Spec Labs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Speclabs.org. So it's SPECLABS.org. And then if you want to go to the, you can find our festival on the website, but the festival is speclabs.org/Spec Fest.
Okay.
Is the,
you hear that one? Backslash
Spec Fest.
You got that poster. You got that poster right next to you, man.
I'm half black.
But we're also podcasting here, so I keep forgetting. Like, yeah, they don't see us. Maybe.
That's right. Well, I'm podcasting too, so we have to get this together and do something together.
Yes.
What are you
we
doing?
have to.
I guess.
Well, we've been talking about, doing some comedy show. That's fantastic. Like, let's try to get some good, like, doing a comedy show with teaming up with your school would be awesome with the LA School of Comedy.
It would be. It was awesome. I just needed help.
Yeah. Well, we'll help you as soon as we're done with this festival. This festival this weekend is all encompassing right now. But I mean, we're gonna go on a winter break and let's
come back and ready to rock. So for the festival, they can find information on your social media.
Oh yeah, we have Facebook. Our Facebook is Spectrum, facebook.com/Spectrum Laboratory. Instagram, we have Spectrum Laboratory. We have Facebook and Instagram for the movie too, for Boys Don't Wear Dresses. Okay. So you can just look up Boys Don't Wear Dresses and find the movie through that. We have a trailer, which I think you guys might show. I'm not sure, but if not, we have a YouTube Spectrum Laboratory page where you can watch all of our stuff, like music videos, short films, the trailer for Boys Don't Wear Dresses.
I want to know more about that. Tell me more about this before we close up.
Our YouTube page is awesome.
The narrative,
really
narrative about it.
That's really the best place. The narrative about Spec Labs.
It's all about Lonnie, right?
Oh, for Alani and the film Boys Don't Wear Dresses. Yeah, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram. And that trailer is on YouTube. The Boys Don't Wear Dresses trailer. Look for the one that says Boys Don't Wear Dresses official trailer. But everything's on our YouTube page, YouTube Spectrum Laboratory. You'll find us all. You'll see a really fun picture of the two of us holding a guitar and a film camera. That's us.
A guitar? I thought you were happy to see me, Garth.
My friends call me Guitar, by the way.
Guitar, yeah.
You know my father was a guitar player?
Oh, no kidding.
That's how my mother met him. Let me go into that. But he worked with that guy. Oh my God, I know his name. Trey, something Trio. Les Paul.
He played with Les Paul?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We said when you're a guitar player, you never leave the house without your guitar. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I was like that. Oh, you have it. There you go. There you go. Man, you've motivated me today, I'll tell you that. And I'm going to tell you something. You're going to have a lot of inquiries. You're going to have a lot of people contacting you. You should be reaching out right now to Hoda and, Savannah. And you need to be doing that now because this is this weekend. And it's a great thing for people. They need to see this. They need to see this. I'm very much in tune with the autistic world and the spectrum world, whatever world you want to call that. And I shared that with you with my obsession with Bruno Bettelheim, not knowing that he was not the first psychologist to coin autism. I didn't know that. It was another guy. But he wrote that book, Joey the Mechanical Boy, and reading this as a kid, you're fascinated. Like, who are these kids? They're my age. They don't talk. They're nonverbal, but they could take apart a refrigerator and put it back again. The stories that they were talking about. And I just wish that more people were open and understood it. And with this movie, it's going to be a whole different game, okay? Because not only do they have to be woke about boys do wear dresses, not only that, and we're on the spectrum. Now, what you going to do, okay? Yeah. That's great. That's fierce.
That is fierce, yeah. No, I mean, we're really proud of the work we've done over these 5 years, and this weekend is going to be a real true testament to showing how much not only have we made amazing, creative, awesome content, but how much some of our parents like to say how it's interesting to hear it because we're both artists and creative, but how this art process is therapy and it's better their lives and in the whole, as far as whether they're going for a job audition or whether they're talking to people at school or socializing or any aspect of life, like getting to express themselves. And that's why our motto is "Let us be heard." It's because it really is about showing the world what this community can do. It's not about what they can't do. It's about what they can do.
No, it's what they're doing.
And the stories that are, people want to hear heartwarming stories.
Yeah.
Like this. We're all kind of sick of the huge blockbusters are fun and all, but it's like, yeah, we'll watch the Avengers one night, but then the next night, let's watch Peanut Butter Falcon, which is an amazing movie. And they're right on, spot on with what they're doing. And we want to be a part of this growth of the inclusion matters and representation matters in Hollywood. And the other thing we haven't mentioned, which is awesome, is we actually share our proceeds. We hire a lot of people on the spectrum. So they're not only doing these creative fun projects and classes, we're paying them.
Right.
We've paid our animators, we've paid our voice actors, we've paid our actors, we've paid composers for music. They've all, like, a lot of our students are actually getting part-time work or freelance work through.
Why don't you give them my number? Maybe they'll show up.
Tell us what you need.
Animators. We need some animators over here.
A lot of people ask us this, and it's good to mention that we do hire our teachers, instructors, people who work with us are also autistic or on the spectrum or within so it's not just Garth and I teaching everything. It's we hire our animation teachers are both on the spectrum, and like we really hire and we try to make it as inclusive and in all areas.
It's a private club, man. It's your own Friars Club. I love it. It's beautiful. And guess, like I said, the world has to get used to it. That's all.
Yeah. Agreed.
Because it's been here. It's been here for a long time.
The world has to get used to a lot of things.
That's right.
This is one of them.
My hair's not
One
straight.
way to make the world a better place,
Laughter's gonna work. That's the only thing. What are you gonna do? If you don't laugh, you're in trouble. And Garth can laugh. I can tell you that right now. I didn't think he was gonna pull that guitar out, and that shocked me. But I gotta tell you, I'll be ready next time when you pull out that guitar. Wow, this is so great that you were here live with me doing a Zoom thing on TALKSHOW on the go. And of course, you can always follow me anywhere that you can. And if there's anything else that I'm forgetting about,
I can't wait till we can do this in person. It's going to be so nice to actually, meet.
You gotta bring some of our students by next time. You gotta chill with them.
Oh, I have. I just want to make sure there's enough people in to chill with me with them, because when they start talking at once and they get very creative, and I talk a lot too. Can you imagine?
Oh, it'll be good. It'll be good.
I think you're going to get along great with some of our students for sure.
I'm going to get great with all of them. That's
all of them. Yeah, I should say all of them.
I do. I know I sound like one of those positive people from LA, but I'm not. I'm from New Jersey. So I'm a realist. But I know I'm going to get along with all of them because that's why they always call me back. That's one of my pet peeves. If you're going to do a benefit for anyone who is on a spectrum or anybody who is challenged, whatever, be ready. They may hug you. You know what I mean? It's before COVID. Don't act like, oh my God, we have to go here afterwards. That's the one thing I hate is when people attach themselves to a philanthropic cause because they're going to get some play. That's what I'm going to say. That's why I want to say
Yeah.
because it's like, don't do that.
Doing it for the wrong reasons, yeah.
Right.
And I've seen
You
that
guys
a
got
lot.
it.
And I've seen it because like it'll look good for their image. And yeah, we definitely do not do that. I mean, Alex Billings and Tom Kenny, and they're like the sweetest, nicest people in the world. And we brought Rob Paulson in, who's another amazing voice actor. He does Yakko on Animaniacs, which just got a huge reboot.
Oh,
He
great.
came and hung out, and he was so gentle. It's like the people that come into our community, and I'm hoping you'll be one, is
I'm already here.
they always come in with, you already are, what am I saying? The right heart, you got the heart, you know, and that's what we bring in. We can tell pretty easy, Garth and I got a real good, like, radar. If they're doing it for the right reason or not.
You got the tism? You got the tism?
You got
Dart?
the-
The tism dart? We're going to get together with Ross and do all these wonderful things. And it's just wonderful that it took your aunt to bring us together. And that's really wonderful. She's a
Yeah,
miss.
it was my Aunt Sherry. So thanks, Aunt Sherry. She
Yes.
ever-
Thanks, Aunt Sherry, because of you. I look like that. And Garth pulled out his guitar for me. Oh my God. It's my own hair too. I know.
What's that?
It's mine. It's mine. It's all mine. And I have to tell you, all my friends from Jersey, they keep writing on Facebook, please do your hair. It's
Well,
done.
I think your hair is awesome.
Your hair looks awesome. I mean,
Yeah, we're
don't
in
take it out. Look at
This is a look, right?
I look like a Viking over here. Yeah, I think you look awesome though. I think you got
I love it. You telling a Kronquist about the Viking and the this and the that. We're gonna have so much fun when we do this. And I'm so sorry I kept you guys so long, but we had a lot to talk about. And guys, you guys are listening.
It's good. We're grateful to be here. So
I am grateful to have you, man, because I'm gonna be in the next Boys Don't Wear Dresses. Some kind of way, shape, or form. We're gonna find a way, and you're gonna write a song about Sunda. That Sunday without the Y.
I can see it, Sunda, for sure.
I can see it soon. To see that, he's got that going on. Thank you guys so much for coming, and I want to thank you guys for coming in today too, for coming in for this. This is great.
Thank you so much.
So listen, guys, this talk show has been on the go. I'm Sunda Kronquist. I'm always on the go. We got the magic. We got the love. We're gonna see you next time. I'm gonna see you guys soon, right? We got Garth, Jason, and don't forget, Boys Don't Wear Dresses. This weekend, we are going to be at the Spec Fest. Is that right?
Spec
That's
Fest,
right.
SpecLabs.org. SpecLabs.org, all the info there. This is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Can't wait. This is awesome. Thank you so much.
There you go. And you know it. This talk show's on the go. We're on the go. Thank you.